Ryan Bohl is a senior Middle East and North Africa analyst at RAIN, a global risk intelligence company, and joins us live now. Ryan, thank you very much for your time. Steve Witkoff is still trying to put together a ceasefire plan which will meet Israeli approval, a tall order as it seems. Yet again, there hasn't been a lot of progress. Why?
Well, the primary reason is the Israeli demands continue to expand and change. We have seen the Israelis go away from the phased plan that was favored by the Biden administration, and that's what was agreed to in January and then collapsed in its second phase in March. And now they're going to essentially what you could call a no-phase plan. It is a full surrender of Hamas. Its leadership and fighters go into exile. The Strip is disarmed, and then the Strip ends up in Israeli military hands, and then they figure out what to do from there. Hamas is not ready to surrender and to go into exile, and so long as those are the conditions, we will continue to see military action from the Israeli side.
Israel has today claimed that it now controls 40% of Gaza City. What does this mean for the geopolitics of the region?
Well, first, we can view some of that with some skepticism. Remember, the Israelis have moved into Gaza City multiple times in the course of this war. This is not their first major maneuver through this territory. What they're doing differently this time is they're intending on not simply raiding and withdrawing, but staying. And what that means is that the Israelis are de facto taking responsibility for the Gaza Strip's largest city into the indeterminate future. Now, when we think about what that means for Israel's international relations, the short answer is that it deepens its isolation, but that no countries in the region are willing to take significant economic and certainly not military steps to force a change in Israeli behavior. What we're seeing is countries like Turkey and to an extent the United Arab Emirates taking some stances that are designed to shift opinion on Israel. And in Turkey's case, it's a boycott that they're trying to enforce. With the Emiratis, they're trying to use their influence with Israel's government to try to convince it to change some of its behavior. But essentially, the region is standing by and watching as the Israelis slowly creep into the control of Gaza City.
I did want to ask you as well, Ryan, Israel threatening annexation of the occupied West Bank. What's this geared towards, in your opinion? How much is it in response to an increasing number of countries stating that they'll recognize Palestine as a state?
Well, I certainly think the timing is very much linked to that threat that in the United Nations General Assembly later this month, some of the handful of holdouts, the really important holdouts like France and Britain and Canada, are saying that they may recognize Palestine as an independent state. Now, functionally, that doesn't have a huge effect on Israel. It certainly doesn't change any of the facts on the ground, but it complicates Israel's diplomatic strategy for its overall approach to the West Bank. It wants to keep its settlements there, particularly this government not only wants to keep their settlements, but expand them. And they don't want to cause a sanctions campaign against Israel, because if these countries are recognizing an independent state of Palestine, there's an implicit threat that sanctions could come down the pipeline at a future date. Now, those sanctions could be symbolic or they could be significant. After all, Europe is a major trading partner for Israel. And if there's a significant sanctions campaign, that would be something that would really hit Israel's pocketbooks and make it much more difficult to not only sustain its war effort, but to provide the standard of living that its citizens need. Now, in terms of why Netanyahu is chasing annexation, from a de facto standpoint, the West Bank is already annexed by the Israelis. They are enforcing civil law throughout many of their territories there. So in a functional sense, it really is already annexed. The step to do that annexation is supposed to appease Israel's far right, which are a key part of his coalition and are somebody that he needs if he's going to win the election that will be coming at some point next year. He's already in a minority government. He's already very weak politically in that regard. He needs that far-right element more than ever, and this is one of their key demands.
Ryan, appreciate your thoughts and analysis. Thank you very much.
Thank you.